about cane corsos, that regal look, the loyalty. But if you're also worried about allergies, you're probably wondering, are these dogs going to turn my house into a sneeze fest?
And you've come to the right place. We hear hypoallergenic all the time, but what does it actually even mean? It doesn't mean the dog is totally allergy-free. It's really more about having fewer allergens, not like a guarantee you won't sneeze.
So no dog is truly like 100% hypoallergenic. There's no such thing as a drool monster I can cuddle with and not need tissues.
I hate to be the one to tell you, but yeah, no dog is completely allergen-free. And cane corsos, well, they're not exactly known for being easy on people with allergies.
Allergen amplifiers? Okay, wow, I've never heard it put that way. So it's more than just a little shedding then.
It's definitely more than just a little shedding. Think about those tiny flakes of skin that look like dust bunnies. Those are actually microscopic allergens called dander. And cane corsos, well, let's just say they produce a lot of it.
Dander factories. Oh no. So is it the dander that's making people react the most?
It's definitely a big one. But it's not just the fur, you know? Ever notice how sometimes a dog can make your eyes water without even touching you? That's the proteins in their saliva. And believe it or not, their urine too.
Wait, what? Urine too? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's true. And cane corsos have a lot of these proteins. So you've got the fur, the saliva, and even their, what they leave behind.
Triple whammy, you weren't kidding. So are all dogs walking allergens then?
Kind of, yeah. Every dog has these proteins in their skin, saliva, and urine, no matter the breed. But some breeds naturally just have fewer of them, or their specific proteins are less likely to bother someone's allergies.
So it's like a genetic lottery. Even within cane corsos, some could be better for allergies than others.
Exactly. Genetics makes a huge difference. And while cane corsos aren't known for being allergy-friendly, there will always be differences between individual dogs. Two puppies from the same litter could have totally different effects on someone with allergies, just by chance.
Wow, so you really can't judge a cane corso by its cover or by how much it sheds. So for someone who really wants one of these dogs but has allergies, is there anything they can do, or is it a lost cause?
Oh, don't worry, it's not a lost cause. There are definitely some things you can do to manage those allergens. It'll make living with a cane corso a lot easier on your sinuses.
Okay, now you've got me interested. What can people do to survive cane corso shedding? Is it all about those fancy air purifiers with the HEPA filters?
Those definitely help, but let's start with the basics. Grooming and keeping your house clean. Regular grooming is super important, and I'm talking frequent baths here. And using special shampoos that are designed to reduce allergens can really help.
So like those hypoallergenic dog shampoos, do those actually work?
They absolutely can. Hypoallergenic shampoos can be a lifesaver, especially if you use them regularly. They basically break down the proteins in your dog's fur that cause allergies.
Protein busters. I like it. Sign me up. Okay, so hypoallergenic shampoo. Check. What about those air purifiers? Was it or not?
That can make a huge difference, yeah. Especially in rooms where your dog spends the most time, like your living room, for example.
Yeah.
Although ideally, your cane corso shouldn't sleep in your bedroom if you're concerned about allergies.
Creating those allergen-free zones, especially where we sleep, right?
Exactly. And speaking of allergen havens, don't forget about your cane corso's bedding.
You mean where they lie around all day, shedding and releasing allergens?
You got it. Washing your dog's bedding often is so important, but it's one of those things people often forget about.
Out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Uh-huh. That makes a lot of sense, though.
It really does. But even if you do everything right, there are always going to be some allergens. It's just part of sharing your life with a dog, especially a breed like this that sheds a lot. It's about managing the allergens so you can still enjoy that amazing bond with your dog.
So true. But let's be real for a sec. What if someone is already in love with the cane corso breed? Is there any way to know if you'll react before you actually bring one home? Or are we talking about just going for it and hoping for the best?
That's the million-dollar question. And it leads us to a really important point, the try before you buy approach.
Okay, now you're talking my language. I want to hear more about this. Try before you buy with a cane corso. Tell me more.
Right. You've done your research, you love the breed, but, your allergies might not agree. It's like a first date. You want to see if there's chemistry.
Okay, I love that analogy. So how do you date a cane corso? Asking for a friend.
It's actually easier than you might think. Reach out to some breeders in your area. Just be honest about your allergies and tell them you'd like to spend some time with their dogs before making any decisions.
Like a meet and greet, but for my sinuses.
Exactly. You can see how you react being around the dogs. Plus, you get to experience what it's like to hang out with a cane corso. Their loyalty, their goofiness, all in the name of science, of course.
I love it. Practical advice. But let's say someone gets their dream cane corso. They're doing everything right, but those allergies just won't quit. What then?
That's a really good point. Sometimes things just don't work out the way we hope. Maybe the allergies are worse than expected, or life gets in the way, and you can't give your dog the attention they need.
It's true, life can be unpredictable. So what happens then?
Well, first, it's important to remember that it's okay if things aren't working out. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you don't love dogs.
That's so important. It's easy to feel guilty, but it's about what's best for everyone.
Exactly. And in those cases, the most important thing is the dog's well-being. If you tried your best, but it's still not a good fit, it might be the kindest choice to find them a new home.
Rehoming is never easy, but sometimes it's the responsible thing to do. Before we go down that road, though, we talked about managing allergies with grooming and stuff. But what about medication? Can allergy meds help at all?
For sure. Medications like antihistamines can make a huge difference for a lot of people. They can really help with those annoying symptoms like the sneezing, the itchy eyes. They can make life with your cane corso much more enjoyable.
Antihistamines, the classic allergy solution. What about allergy shots, though? Are those an option for dog allergies?
They can be. Allergy shots are also called immunotherapy. It's basically like training your immune system to not freak out over dog allergens.
So you're giving your body a crash course in how to deal with those proteins.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's pretty cool, but is it a quick fix?
Not really. It takes some time. Allergy shots need patience. You don't see results overnight. It can actually take months to start seeing the effects.
It's more like a marathon than a sprint.
Exactly. And like with any medical treatment, it's important to talk to your doctor or allergist, see if it's right for you.
Makes sense. So we talked about how some cane corsos could be better for people with allergies. Is there any way to know that ahead of time, like a test or something?
Believe it or not, there's some new developments with dog DNA testing that could help with that.
Wait a minute, you're saying there's such a thing as DNA tests for dogs now?
You heard right. Now, there are companies that offer allergy tests specifically for dogs.
You're kidding. I can get my dog's DNA tested to see how likely they are to make me sneeze. That's incredible.
It sounds crazy, right? Like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
But it's real. They analyze your dog's DNA to see what kinds of proteins they have and how much of those proteins they're likely to produce.
So it's like a sneak peek at your dog's sneeze potential.
That is wild.
Exactly. It's like those Ancestry DNA kits, but for your dog's allergen.
That's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But how accurate are these tests, really? Can they tell you for sure, or is it still a guessing game?
That's the million-dollar question. They can identify certain genetic markers linked to allergens, but there's always a chance things won't be predictable.
So not an exact science yet, more like another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still an amazing tool for dog lovers with allergies, though. So for someone who really wants a cane corso but is worried about their allergies, what now?
That's where our deep dive gets even more interesting. So these DNA tests can actually give potential cane corso owners some information about how likely their dog is to make them sneeze. That's huge. But is this common practice now? Are breeders actually using these DNA tests?
It's becoming more popular, yeah. Some breeders are starting to use allergy tests in your breeding programs.
Wait a second. Are you saying they're using science to intentionally breed dogs that are less likely to cause allergies? That sounds like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's becoming a reality. It's definitely a complicated process, and it's still early days. But some breeders are really trying to reduce the chance of their puppies causing allergies. It's about being a responsible breeder and using genetics to our advantage.
Wow, that's incredible. So now it's not just about finding a cane corso that fits your lifestyle. It's about finding one that works with your allergies too. This is a game changer for people who have always wanted a dog but thought they couldn't because of allergies.
It is. And who knows what the future holds? Maybe one day there will be hypoallergenic versions of all our favorite breeds.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But that's what's so great about these deep dives, right? We get to explore all these possibilities, learning new stuff all the time, and seeing how things are changing for dog lovers. Okay, but back to reality for a sec. If someone's listening to this and thinking, I really want a cane corso, but my allergies, what's the most important thing to remember?
Knowledge is power. Do your research, talk to breeders, and think about those DNA allergy tests. And don't forget about spending some time with a cane corso before you decide. It's about finding that balance, right? You want your dream dog, but you also need to be realistic and responsible. It's about what's best for you and your future furry friend.
Perfectly said. So there you have it, cane corsos. Not technically hypoallergenic, but with a little planning, maybe some luck, and a little help from science, they might just steal your heart and leave your sinuses alone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, everyone, and maybe keep those tissues handy, just in case.